Hello and welcome to another episode of What If It's Cool, the show where we talk about anything and everything that is cool in the world today. I am Take Two, Daniel Paul Crow, and on this episode I have an interview with PCW President Ruby Raye. We talk about her 20-year-long career, as well as how she plans to make PCW cool again. So sit back, relax, and enjoy from Manager of Champions to PCW President with Ruby Raye. Ruby, thank you so much for being part of the show. I know you are very busy being the president of PCW, but I'd like to thank you so much for being part of it. Firstly, I know we already spoke about this off camera, but I do want to say one thing. I think it is a crime that you've never been on a podcast before, and I am so thankful that you are being part of the show. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
It's all right. We were talking back and forth yesterday, and you had mentioned something that I thought was interesting because I didn't even know this. You had some time with the new SmackDown. This is how SmackDown or Raw. I already lost it. Yeah. Oh, whatever. Raw. She's now the champion in WWE.
Oh yeah,
Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. SmackDown. Yeah.
Can you just elaborate a little bit about that?
I only worked one show with her at RCW in Adelaide years ago. Like I want to say about 10 years ago. When she was wrestling as Demi Bennett, and yeah, amazing. It was clear from the start that she had potential then, definite future champion. Great attitude, really good to work with. I didn't work a match directly with her; it was just on that show. But yeah, she definitely well deserved. She's just grown so much in these, the 10 years since I met her. But yeah, I got a little bit emotional yesterday watching it, I'll admit. But yeah, could not have gone to a better person. Deserves it very much.
It was a great day for Australian wrestling because obviously we had Rhea win and we had Indy win as well, which was I got to admit I did tear up a little bit seeing Indy, and the peers did pour eventually when Rhea did as well. Absolutely amazing day for Australian wrestling, that's for sure. But enough about that. We're not here about talk about them. We're here to talk about you and just everything about you because, well, I don't know very little about you. So firstly, I would like to know, when did you debut?
So I first started with PCW in 2002. And I actually started as a dancer, so as a cheerleader. Right. The cheerleading group that I was working for at the time were approached by PCW wanting girls to dance at shows. And I was a huge WCW fan back then. So being a Nitro girl was a dream of mine, let's say. So yeah, an opportunity to, work for a wrestling company and as a cheerleader, I jumped at it. So first started with PCW in 2002 doing that. And then from there, I went on to train. So I trained with George Julio as well as with Lobo at PCW. And ended up debuting as a manager in 2003. So started with PCW as a dancer in 2002 and then debuted as a manager in 2003. I've worked all over Australia in pretty much every state for lots of different companies. As I mentioned before, I worked for RCW that time and have worked all over. I was on the first International Assault show at Vodafone Arena as the ring girl.
Wow.
Yeah, which was 2004 or 2005. Adrian will correct me.
I think from memory that was 2005 because I was just in my first lot of uni or second lot of uni from memory.
Yeah. So that was at Vodafone Arena, it was called at the time. So huge show, amazing opportunity to be a part of it. Lobo wrestled the Dudley Boys. There was some amazing talent on the show as well. But yeah, have been very privileged to have worked all over Australia with some amazing companies, building some of the best champions this country, let alone the world, has ever seen. So
what happened exactly?
Of champions.
Yeah, but what exactly happened? So you went from being a dancer / cheerleader to a manager, but how did that sort of come about?
I love wrestling, so definitely wanted to get involved. I'm not skilled enough to be a wrestler. Not very good, and I can admit that. Much better off creating champions. So obviously I train, and I actually did wrestle a couple of matches, but I know we've discussed this before, but I would not call what I did wrestling. More just, look, I got in there and I gave it a go. My first match was a mixed tag with myself and Jay Andrews. against Tennille, now known as Emma in WWE, and Cletus. So pretty cool match to debut in. But yeah, I'll stick to managing. I'm much better at creating champions than trying to become one myself.
Is there any way to see that match? Because I
I doubt
vaguely
it.
remember. Oh no, there's no.
I mean,
Oh
this is 2003. There'll be a VHS somewhere, I'm sure.
no, because
Hopefully not.
I vaguely remember Emma being in the wrestling scene there, but I obviously still see Cletus to this day, and he's an
Hmm.
absolutely underrated talent out there. But I would just love to
Agree.
see what you guys look like back then, and what the skills are, and yeah, just that's just bit of time that I'd just love to experience. So
Yeah, very
if
long time ago.
anyone has that on video or anywhere, please send.
PCW might have it in their archives somewhere, who knows, but hopefully not. I mean, we're
PCW,
talking
please
about
let me know.
before the time of smartphones, or we literally used to produce VHS back then. So, um, yeah.
Oh man, it's. I feel so old when you say that we produce VHS because I'm just like, oh
You
my
do.
God,
Yeah. Yeah. I
man,
mean,
it was a different
this is
time, but it
my
was.
21st year in wrestling, so I've been doing this 20 years. It's a long time. Obviously, I have lots of experience,
Hmm.
hence, you know, managing some future champions.
We'll get into that in a few minutes. But I wanted to know because obviously you went from, the dancing, cheerleading aspect and you went
Hmm.
into managing and to
Hmm.
wrestling. What have been some of the challenges you've had to deal with for going for that?
Being a female in wrestling in the 2000s is a challenge in itself, being a female in wrestling, full stop. But definitely back then in the 2000s, it was a challenge. Also, being a manager, like I wasn't a wrestler. So
Mm,
to get booked on shows as a manager, you really have to prove yourself. And honestly, like I owe a lot of that to Lobo and to PCW, but definitely to Lobo because he really believed in me and took a chance on me.
mm.
Um, and I think he probably believed in me more than I did at the time. So I'll always owe that to him. But it's a challenging industry and it's tough. But um, those of us, who want it, we stick it out. Still here 20 years later.
Definitely.
Yeah,
It's funny because like being a woman in the especially in the early 2000s, mid 2010s, it was very different. Like
it
everyone
was.
keeps harping on about how great the Attitude Era was, how great wrestling was in those times. For me, looking back and especially for the women out there, I'm very ashamed to say I liked that back then, what it was, because I can't look at it now. Like I'm not a biological father. I have two godchildren, but I could never let my goddaughter ever watch anything like that. Um,
I
it
mean, it was a
just
different era.
it
Yeah,
was a
like it was a
different
different
era.
time.
Yeah.
We've obviously all come a long way since then and have evolved as a industry, which I think is fantastic.
Mm.
Um, but it was the time. Not an excuse, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad things have definitely changed because I'll be flat out honest. Yesterday the women's train Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair was the match of the night. Very, very
I
exciting.
agree.
And I've been finding a lot of wrestling events that the female matches are so much better than the men's. Like hands down.
Good to
And
hear.
that's not me trying to get clout or anything for that. I'm actually generally saying that for a lot of things. And I really wish that we had a lot more women events or like obviously we had Evolution, we had Empowered at NWA, which I called
Hmm.
as the pay-per-view of well second the second pay-per-view of not last year but the year before, because it was
Yeah.
absolutely amazing. Did you see that one as well? Because that was
No, I haven't seen that.
oh you've got we got it one night, we got to check it out because it is
Yeah.
quite possibly it's better than Evolution
Yeah.
by a long shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm so glad it's all changed, and I'm glad that you're still here and still kicking goals.
Thanks. I'm very proud of the women in this industry.
Mm. Well, you said you're managing champions. So, firstly, I need to ask you are representing my boys. So, obviously, I'm wearing a JSA shirt. We have B squared on there. We also have
Hmm.
who else we got there? We got Luke Resner and is it
Yep.
Will Walker? Part of the five guys.
Ace Jack.
Oh, sorry, Ace. Oh
Yeah.
my God, he's gonna kill me too.
He will
Sorry,
kill you for
so,
that.
sorry, Ace. Oh my God.
Will might too.
Oh, boys. Unfortunately, I'm old. Okay, stuff up everything, and it just, as you can see on the video down here, hashtag Dan stuffed it up. So just let me be. Just don't kick my ass.
Just don't get it wrong
um,
again. We'll be fine.
I bet you any money when I see them at the next show, they're gonna go, "How could you get it wrong, mate? You had the beautiful Ruby Raye there, our manager, and yet you stuffed us up. Well
But
done,
see,
mate."
this is the point, right? Because they're
Yeah.
these five guys. Like nobody knows their names. No one knows who they are. They haven't made any real impact yet. And whereas with me by their side and, joining like my agency, they are going to become five champions and people will know their names. They're going to know exactly who they are.
Well, they should be okay with that, with me stuffing up their names. I think that's perfectly fine. You just said it right there. Not many people know them. I mean, I know JSA and B squared, but don't really know Luke and Ace that well. But hopefully they can forgive me for that one. Sorry, boys. I guarantee I get my head kicked in on that one.
Yeah, probably.
You are,
But yes, I am managing them.
yeah, but you are mentioning these guys. Do you have a favorite yet out of the five?
It's like asking me to pick my favorite child. Um, so I can't really pick a favorite.
Hang on.
Um,
Guns to your head. Guns to your head. They're going, all right, I'm going to kill everyone if you don't tell me who you got to pick.
all right, gun to my head.
Yep. Gun
Uh,
to
I'd
the
have to
head.
say I'd have to say B squared just because they came to PCW to support me in the presidential election. They were there and they voted for me. That's
Yeah.
gun to the head. Yeah.
I I had a feeling it was going to be B squared.
Sorry, guys.
It's hard not to love them, honestly.
I
They're
mean, they were
great in
there.
ring tamlets. They're supporting you there. They go for Geelong Footy Club. They've got it all there. Sorry, the rest of the boys, but yeah, you know how I feel. Um, oh my god, I'm just digging myself in a bit into a further grave, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, you have been in the industry for 20 years, and you've done majority of the time you have been managing. Can you
Hmm.
list off a couple of the names you actually have listed that have gone on to bigger, brighter things?
Yeah. I'd have to say one of the guys that I'm most proud of is Slex.
Hmm.
I first started with Slex in about 2004, I think it was, maybe 2005, or it was late 2004 at least.
Hmm.
And we worked together for nearly 5 years. Slex is an incredible wrestler, an amazing talent, and I'm so proud of everything he's done and is still doing in wrestling. And I feel very privileged to have had the opportunity to work with him and help mold him into the champion that he is today.
Absolutely amazing.
So yeah,
Um,
definitely him.
hmm.
Alberto Bravo as well, who we'll touch on later, but is returning to PCW.
Hmm.
Very proud of that. I've worked with some amazing champions. I mean, Enforcer, um, Jim Ray's, Adam Pearce. I've managed Adam Pearce. Yeah, I've
Wow.
had the opportunity to really work with some great champions. So, but there, yeah, a few. I mean, even down to Sly up until recently, as well. Other than the fact that he fired me, he was good until then.
Spe- spe- Speaking of the Sly guy, because I haven't been to a lot of PCWs as of late. What happened there? Can you explain it? Because like James and me go back and forth every now and again, usually about horror movies or heavy metal. What happened there? Why did he fire you?
James doesn't listen. That's his biggest problem. And he is impatient. And, you've heard him say it himself. He wants that title and he'll do anything to get it. And I think he felt that he would have a better chance at winning that title on his own. So he's had one shot at it, didn't go so
And
well.
didn't go so
So
well,
let's see
no.
how it goes going forward. But for the 2 years that we were together, saved his ass many times, but it is what it is. He's got great potential, so let's see.
Is there any ill will between you two?
Um, I'm not happy that he fired me. I mean, that wasn't great.
Mm.
20 years and I'm just gonna get fired. Like, um, hence I protested and handcuffed myself to the scaffolding, at which point Carl Grove electrocuted me.
Oh God.
So it set off a chain of events. Let's put it that way. But yeah.
Mm. Speaking of old friend Socks, Carl Grove, you obviously challenged him for the PCW presidency. President.
Hmm.
Oh my God, I can't even say the word.
Presidency.
Presidency. Um,
Hmm.
what drove you to do that? What was it about Carl's leadership that you didn't like?
Carl's out of control. He has no way to control the guys in the back room. He cannot manage them. And that was the problem. They were running riot. He was losing the company money. I mean, stopping Daniels from wrestling, letting wrestlers wrestle before their scheduled matches. I mean, you announce a match in order to sell tickets to, have sellout crowds. And Carl was just letting them do what they wanted. And then, we were losing revenue because of it. He doesn't know how to manage them. I do. I've got 20 years experience. I know what I'm doing and I know how to push the company forward and make PCW great again.
Okay, very interesting.
And I got
Well,
100% of the votes, mind you.
yes, you did. You definitely did, and
100% of the votes.
kudos to you on that one. I'm very happy that you won there. Not that I'm saying I don't trust Carl or anything because I don't want to get in the shit on this one. But yeah, like I'm happy you won because you represent the home side with B Squared and JSA. So I'm happy that you got that. And let's move over there because I'm pretty sure Socks is going to kick my ass. I think he's going to kick my ass because I'm calling him Socks, his old name, but
Well,
uh,
probably. Yeah.
yeah, I'm not doing too well tonight, am I? I'm pissed off Carl, pissing off Ace, I'm pissing off Luke. Oh God, it's just digging it
Yeah.
even further and further. The nerves are
Hmm.
definitely coming out tonight. Oh God. But yeah, that you are the president of professional championship wrestling. What are some of the decrees that you plan to do, and what do you plan to, as you said, make it cool again? How are you going to do that?
I think a part of it is bringing some experience into the shows. So I touched on it before, but Alberto Bravo is coming back to Ignition this Saturday,
Hmm.
the 8th of April, against Robbie Thorpe, which is going to be a really tough matchup for Robbie. But Albie's a great talent. He hasn't wrestled in, a little while, but
Hmm.
he's 3 times the size he used to be. He's a bodybuilder. He runs his own gym. He's in incredible shape. And he's going to teach the guys a few lessons.
I still remember when Robbie was pretty small. But I also remember when he was, yeah, I can't even remember how many matches it was. He was on a massive losing streak. Um, and you weren't his manager then. Was that before you took him, or was that after you
Robbie
took
or
him?
Albie?
LB.
Albie. Albie and I started working together, I think it was 2012,
Hmm.
2011, around about then. Um, no, it might have even been earlier
Might
actually.
have been early
Hang
because
on.
I'm
They,
pretty sure
they all
the
blend
numbers.
in. They all blend in together. Um, but yeah, we worked together for 5 years a lot. So
Okay,
um, yeah, I think we finished working together in about 2015 or 2014.
okay, fair enough. How did you get him
Yeah.
back in? Because like I was really surprised when he stepped away, and I was like, oh, he was absolutely fantastic. But now he's back, and I'm excited. But how did you manage to con him back into coming into PCW
I'm
and just
that
going back
good.
into wrestling? You're that good.
Yeah.
Can you share any of your
I'm a
secrets on this
creator
one?
of champions for a reason. I mean, I know what I'm doing. I know how to negotiate. Um, I know what's good for PCW and I'll be having this match as part of it.
All right. I'm excited for that one. Definitely, we're going to touch about more about Ignition
Mm,
soon. But we'll just go into something that we talked about off camera that I thought was incredibly cool, and I can't believe I didn't recognize you. So you were in an international wrestling magazine. Do you have
hmm.
it there?
I do. I was on the front cover with Kurt Angle.
Sorry for those who are listening, but this is
Yeah.
Total Wrestling Magazine, which is absolutely amazing. So she's on the lower right hand side of it. How did that come about? Because that is absolutely amazing.
I was lucky enough to be approached by a journalist,
Hmm.
Michael Tamira, and I'll just show you there's about 4 pages inside as well with interview and
Wow.
photos. I was actually in it twice. I was in 2 different um, versions, months, however you
Mhm.
want to say it. So yeah, very cool. So he approached me to do the interview. And yeah, kind of went from there.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah,
This
it's my claim to fame that I was on the front page of an international wrestling magazine with Kurt Angle.
have you met Kurt yet?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
But
so
hey,
that,
I'm in a magazine with him. I mean,
yeah,
how
it's
many
cool.
people can say that?
I know I can't. I've been on a magazine. Any journalists? I'd love to be part of a magazine. That's for sure. Um, all right. Well, we have Ignition coming out this Saturday.
hmm
Through what are some of the matches that we will be seeing down there?
So obviously, I touched on before Alberto Bravo versus Robbie Thorpe. Um, Robbie can't even pronounce Albie's name, so I'm not quite sure how he's going to wrestle him. Good luck.
How's he saying it?
Um, he just couldn't figure it out, even what his name was, how to say it, who he was. I don't think he realizes who Alberto actually is. Um,
I was going
he
to say
was
something, but I
complaining
don't want
about,
Robbie to come kick my ass on this one. I've already
yeah,
dug myself a bigger grave. I'm not going to say anything. I'm going
yeah.
to keep my mouth
I
shut
just need
about
to
that.
keep handing you shovels at this point, I think. Um, yeah, no, Robbie was upset that all these old timers are coming back for the Rumble, and I thought, well, let's not wait till the Rumble. Let's do it next show. So yeah, PCW Ignition, one of my previous champions, Alberto Bravo versus Robbie Thorpe.
Robbie, good luck, mate, because having seen Alberto wrestle the last few years, he's a handful, and
Yeah,
okay,
it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an
I'll keep it
interesting
at that.
match.
I really don't
Yeah,
want you to hand me another shovel. I'm already
yeah,
dead as we speak.
yeah.
Hmm.
And then another match, which everybody's been waiting on for a really long time, is Ryan Rappard versus Barry O'Leary in a chairs
Hmm.
match. This match has had to be rescheduled a couple of times because I don't know, something happened to Ryan. He got attacked or something when he was on a run. I'm not really sure. I don't really care.
Hmm.
But the match is happening on the 8th of April. So Barry and Ryan in a chairs match will, and if you've seen those two guys wrestle, I mean, Barry is one of the mongrels, and for a reason. And Rapid's a great talent, but sometimes at the expense of his body, I would say. So he's got to work smarter, not harder,
Hmm.
to win this match.
I've seen Ryan grow, and I have been a massive fan of his. I think I was at his ninth or 10th match because wasn't at his debut, but I always thought he was massively talented. Give him a chair, Barry. You need all the luck you can, mate.
Oh no,
I'm
I don't
very
know,
terrified. I'm
because
very terrified of him with a chair.
Barry's, tenacious. And if you've seen him train, if you follow him on Instagram, the way that that man trains is incredible. So, he's built and he's dedicated and he's hardworking. So I wouldn't put it past Barry.
All right. I haven't seen Barry with a chair yet, so I am just going from my experience of
You
looking at
need to
Ryan.
go back and have a look at some previous matches because he destroyed Mitch from Slam with a chair. I think he nearly split his
Wow.
head open. So that man's dangerous with a chair.
So wait on, where could we possibly see this? Is there a network of some sort that we could see this on?
Yeah, the PCW Network. So if you go to pcw.com.au, you can sign up for the network, monthly subscription, and there's a great back catalogue on there of matches as well as all of our recent Ignition and Risk, which was our most recent show as well. So the Grand Slam shows, there's a heap of amazing um, shows on there that I would recommend people watching for sure.
Hmm. That was a cheeky plug, but but there is something I do love about the PCW network. One of the shows that it got me through the pandemic, that wrestling show.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it was a
Far
lot
out
of fun.
that was a lot of fun. Is
Yeah.
that still because I don't have time to check it out. Is that still going or is that
Not at the moment. And for
yeah.
those who don't know, it was sort of a panel style show. It reminded me of the footy show, but for
It was exactly
wrestling.
like the footy show. It was
Yeah,
fucking awesome. I
yeah,
loved it.
yeah. Just and a way to still entertain our audiences throughout the pandemic as best we could around
Mm,
lockdowns. So yeah,
mm,
yeah. You can check they're on there, so you can check them out
mm.
as well. So
Yeah, definitely.
yeah,
I
yeah.
highly recommend it because it's the best half an hour you guys are going to watch. Um, they're either in character or not in character, and they just have a lot of fun. And some of the stuff that had Ryan on that show, I was
hmm
burst out laughing. It was great.
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
Mm.
So yes, definitely check that out. We also have, so I recently cleared Lucas Daniels to wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
So Carl wouldn't clear him previously medically to wrestle. So I have now signed his new contract. But Daniels owes me a favor. So the only way I agreed to it, I wanted to get something out of it as well. So Daniels now owes me a favor. So I'm not going to let him forget that. But he wanted a specific match. So I've cleared him to wrestle, and that match is him and Cass Stone, so the true champions, versus Big Dude Energy for the tag team titles in the main event on Saturday at Ignition, 8th of April.
Sounds like a very big, what do they call it? Big hoss fight. And it, if you've ever seen BD in action, and especially if you've ever seen the True Champions in action, this is sorry, JR, if I'm going to steal your line here, but it's going to be a slobber knocker, and I'm so excited for this one. We had Cass on here, and we did talk off camera, and he's so excited for this one. He wants to, destroy BDE with Lucas
Yeah.
Daniels, and
I mean, I'm not sure
I
how
can't wait.
happy he is that I've cleared Daniels. I think he's a little bit concerned about Lucas Daniels getting hurt. I don't really care. I want to sell tickets, and this match is selling tickets.
Oh, that's a
So
bit harsh on as a president saying you don't care, though. Don't you think?
it's up to Daniels if he feels he's okay to wrestle, go for it. If it's sell tickets, bums on seats, makes money. But he owes me.
Okay.
He owes me.
So you're gonna have to call in that favor one day, and Lucas Daniels, be ready, man. Just
Yep.
be ready. Hmm.
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah. Well, it's now time to ask the staple question here. We have it. What
I
if it's
have one
cool?
more match to talk to you about.
Oh, do we? Oh, okay. This is gonna be juicy. All right. I thought there was three,
Yep.
but there's a fourth one. What is it?
Yeah, and there still will be a fifth one to be announced, but I can't talk about that one yet.
That's okay.
But at risk, Rochelle Rogue came out and challenged Aisha for the Renegades of Wrestling Women's Championship.
Hmm.
Aisha has accepted. So they will be wrestling on Saturday night for the Renegades of Wrestling Women's Championship.
Wow. I've got
Yep, so
goosebumps
I've
already.
signed that match.
Oh,
I've signed that match.
oh, I got
So
goosebumps
Rochelle
on that one.
versus Aisha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be, speaking of good women's wrestling, that'll be a match to see.
Why isn't that the main event now? I'm just shooting the shit on this one, but I'm like, that's one I want to see. That, oh,
Come to the show and you'll get to see all of it. You can book tickets, pcw.com.au.
yep. Ticket links is all in the
Um,
description, guys. I'm definitely going to be checking this out. That's for sure, because that match is
and
pretty
they're
much still
selling fast. So
Mm.
yeah, I recommend if you want to check out. I mean, there's some huge matches, and like I said, there's another one yet to be announced that I can't speak about yet.
All right.
But they are some huge matches on this card.
All right. Oh, I can't wait for Saturday night. That's for sure. All right. Just lastly, but a stable question here: what is something that you find cool that nobody else does?
I refuse to believe I'm the only one that thinks this is cool. Shout out to Craven, because I know he agrees with me. But Batman, for me, very cool. Very cool. I
Very
have
cool.
lots of Batman memorabilia. And I don't know if this will work. I have stuff all over my apartment of
Whoa, that
Batman.
is cool. That painting in the background. That's
Yeah,
that's
so
all. That's all the periods of Batman.
yeah, so it was done by Nicola Scott, who she's an incredible artist for DC. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's done all of the Batmans over these. It's a bit hard to see on my screen. I can put up a better picture of it. Um, Also a huge Heath Ledger fan, and I don't know if I can turn my laptop around enough to show you, but I also
Oh my
have
God.
a Heath Ledger Joker print that was done by Paul Obtruse, another amazing artist. Yeah, literally my whole apartment is full of Batman stuff.
Well, the one thing I can notice in the background I think is incredibly cool. Astro Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think anybody probably even knows who he is. The Mighty Atom.
If you don't know who Astro Boy is, kids, you need to go do some research.
Yep.
One of the greatest animes, greatest superheroes of all time, hands down. But again, Batman.
Not as good as Batman, but he's probably my second. And then like He-Man, She-Ra. I've got a She-Ra.
Ruby, how
She-Ra
freaking cool are you? Like, you just listed another one of my personal favorites, He-Man and She-Ra. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God.
Yeah.
You were freaking
Yeah.
awesome. I love you. I really do. God, I just can't believe you just named He-Man and She-Ra. I was totally not expecting that. Um, where can we find you on all your socials?
So on Instagram, Ruby_Raye_, Raye spelled Raye. I'm sure you'll put the link up.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, I do have Twitter, but I don't really use it anymore, if I'm honest. But I am on Twitter as well. But yeah, Instagram is the main one, and Facebook.
All right, we'll definitely plug you on there. I can't wait for Saturday's Ignition. It just sounds like an absolute banger of a show.
A great show.
Yeah. So guys, if you want
My
to go
first
check it
show as
out,
president. So
yes, definitely.
let's
We
sell
have
it
to we have
out,
to support
guys.
we have to support that. Let's make PCW cool again, as you say. That's for sure.
Great again.
So ticket links is all in the description, guys. All for socials for Ruby is all in the description, and make sure to get on top of that PCW network as well, because they've got a lot of great content on there. Like I said, that wrestling show, but also get to see Ruby in all her glory there too. So definitely check it out.
There's some old
Ruby,
matches with Alberto and I on there as well.
yeah.
So
I want to check.
check
I
it
want to
out.
check that out. Definitely check it out. Actually, just because we didn't actually mention this, how much is it per month?
I think it's $9.95 a month
Oh,
from memory.
so cheap.
Yeah.
Why won't you get it?
Yeah.
Seriously, get it.
Yeah.
That's for sure. All right, Ruby Raye, thank you so much for being part of the show. Thank you for being an amazing guest and being so freaking cool, because you love He-Man and Astro Boy and Batman. That's great. But also, I am so thankful that you allowed this show to be your first podcast. And yeah, I think you're amazing. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. And that's the end of that episode. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Want more for What If It's Cool? Make sure to check out the YouTube channel, where you can find the latest episodes of Mukbang Around, Reaction, and of course, the podcast. Make sure to check out What If It's Cool on all socials. It can be found at What If It's Cool. Keep that support coming. And until next time, I'll catch you on next one. Peace.